The Giants ruined the tank. The Giants were set up and just had to keep losing. Drew Lock had other plans. They had only won 2 games all season and hadn't won at home. Week 17, the Giants scored 45 points and beat the Colts, who were fighting for the postseason, 45-33. It was a mess. Anthony Richardson didn't play, and the Giants just kept scoring. It is a weaker draft, but the Giants have killed the chance to get any quarterback off the board. The Giants may go through an entire rebuild with a new head coach and general manager. Maybe not, but there will definitely be a new quarterback. Daniel Jones is gone. It's a new era, and drafting a quarterback to hopefully be the future is key. And it would have been a lot easier with the number 1 pick, but not anymore. It's really been a rough past 2 seasons for the Giants. 2022 set back a much-needed rebuild for sure. Brian Daboll was hired to be the head coach and immediately took the Giants to the postseason and won a playoff game. It led to the Giants paying Daniel Jones and franchise tagging Saquon Barkley. The Giants had to keep the band together because they did go 9-7-1. Tearing it all down might have been a mistake, but it's clear that's exactly what the Giants needed. Last season, the Giants went 6-11 and were really hard to watch at times. It did help to get the 6th pick at the 2024 NFL Draft, which was used on Malik Neighbors. He's been one of the few bright spots as a rookie with over 1,000 yards. The Giants' offense is terrible, but it's already obvious that Neighbors can be an elite level receiver. He was good even though he had to catch passes from Danny Dimes, Drew Lock, and Tommy DeVito. It wasn't pretty, but at least the Giants have a good weapon for a rookie quarterback already. It seems like Tyrone Tracy Jr. should be another important guy for an incoming quarterback. He was a 5th-round pick and has shown a lot of good flashes. There's still a pretty sour taste after Saquon signed with the Eagles and has been their best running back in the league on a divisional rival. Then Devin Singletary didn't exactly move the needle as his replacement. The Giants' number 2 wide receiver is Wan'Dale Robinson, and starting tight end is Daniel Bellinger. They tried to reconstruct the offensive line, but not well. There aren't a lot of offensive bright spots, which is a little concerning for a rookie quarterback likely coming in. The recent quarterbacks for the Giants haven't been good, but the pieces around haven't helped. It's been clear every time the Giants have played that they are just bad. Before beating the Colts, the Giants had lost 10 straight games. New York started the season off with back-to-back losses to the Vikings, 28-6, and the Commanders, 21-18. It wasn't an ideal 0-2 start, but the Giants did almost beat Washington and turned around to beat the Browns, 21-15 the next week. It's no secret how bad the Browns were with Deshaun Watson. 1-2 ain't bad. The Giants did lose to the Cowboys, 20-15 the next week, but then beat the Seahawks, a pretty decent team, 29-20 to go to 2-3. It seemed like the Giants maybe weren't terrible. Definitely not a good team, but at least not a laughing stock. The Giants quickly then did become a joke. The Giants only scored 7 points and lost to the Bengals, and then got blown out 28-3 by the Eagles. There have been plenty of close games too, where the Giants just haven't had that killer instinct, haven't been able to come out on top. They kept it within 1 score with the Eagles, Commanders, and Panthers in overtime. Either way, the Giants lost 5 straight heading into a Week 11 bye, 2-8. At 2-8, the postseason is already a wash. The Giants benched Daniel Jones, later released him, and went to Tommy DeVito for a week. He gave New York a really cool spark last year, but he was awful. The Giants got blasted 30-7 to the Buccaneers, and it was obvious DeVito wasn't going to be any good. It really should have been Drew Lock starting anyways. He was signed to be the backup. He had been the backup all season, and the offense was definitely better with Lock, but still not good. Kept it within 1 score against the Cowboys and Saints before getting crushed by the Ravens and Falcons. As a Washington fan, I was really hoping the Giants would find a way to win and screw up having the number 1 pick at the 2025 NFL Draft. It seemed really possible against the Eagles in Week 18. It was possible Philadelphia would wrap up the NFC East title in Week 17, and did with a win against the Cowboys. Resting starters is very much on the table for Nick Sirianni, I'd assume. The Giants still have a chance to hurt those draft picks even more. It didn't seem likely the Giants would beat the Colts. Indianapolis was one of 4 teams hunting for the last AFC AFC postseason spot with the Broncos, Bengals, and Dolphins. The Colts had to win to have a chance and couldn't even beat the Giants. Anthony Richardson didn't play. He was out with whatever new injury he's dealing with as he does. But Joe Flacco is a seasoned veteran. The Colts offense wasn't always the issue. The turnovers didn't help, but it was mostly the defense. Drew Lock was on a tear. He went 17 of 23 for 309 yards and 4 touchdowns. Malik Neighbors went crazy. He's so good. He caught 7 passes for 171 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Colts defense just couldn't stop anyone, and Flacco throwing 2 picks and losing a fumble didn't help. He still threw for 330 yards and 2 touchdowns. Alec Pierce and Michael Pittman Jr. both had 1 and had over 100 yards. Jonathan Taylor was great on the ground with 125 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Colts scored 33 points. It should have been enough, but the Giants offense didn't slow down to win 45-33. It's a good win for some of the dudes on the roster and Brian Daboll, but it could hurt the future. At the end of the day, nobody is actively trying to tank. Daboll wants to keep his job, and the players are too. The Giants want to win, they just haven't been very good at it. The Giants entered Week 17 as the only 2-win team. The tiebreakers and positioning of draft order is simple when a team has more losses, but beating the Colts, and it's a lot more complicated. The Giants have 3 wins. So do the Patriots, Titans, and Browns. Cleveland played the later slate, but the Giants don't have a tiebreaker at all. It comes down to strength of schedule between teams with the same record. The Patriots have the easiest strength of schedule and are slated for the number 1 pick. Then the Titans at number 2 and Browns at number 3 with a loss to Miami. 1 win against the Colts, and the Giants have gone from number 1 to potentially number 4. It could get even worse with a win against the resting Eagles. The Giants currently do have a better strength of schedule than the Jaguars, Jets, Panthers, and Raiders. All are 4-12. So are the Bears, who have an even higher strength of schedule. It's a bit complicated, but the Giants have potentially lost the chance to take the quarterback they want at the draft. The Patriots definitely aren't going after a quarterback. Drake May looks good. He just went 3rd at the draft. Then it's a bit dicey. The Titans desperately need a quarterback. The Will Levis experiment didn't work. The Browns need a quarterback, but the franchise is so dumb. Who knows what Cleveland will do? Maybe Deshaun Watson is starting week 1. I hope not. At number 4, it's tough. It'll be way worse if the Jets or Raiders jump up too, because both need quarterbacks. It feels like the top 2 quarterbacks are Shadur Sanders and Cam Ward. It really depends on the mock draft for whichever one is expected to go first. I think it's pretty close. I don't love either as prospects. I think it's kind of a weak class, but quarterback development is so based on the situation around a rookie. If Shadur or Ward gets put in the right spot, problem solved. It can be better to not have the top pick. The Texans are happy with CJ Stroud instead of Bryce Young. The Commanders are happy with Jaden Daniels instead of Caleb Williams. It's all about situation, but a team would rather pick the guy viewed as the best. The Giants could end up with exactly who they want in April, but there's a lot more chance involved now. The chance at the number 1 pick is essentially gone for them, and it'll be interesting to see years down the road how important beating the Colts was for the future of the Giants, whether good or bad.